This is the Barwell strip cutter. It is a compact, durable automotive machine to produce strips of rubber up to 535mm wide and 20mm thick. The length is dependent on your requirements and can be adjusted by increasing or decreasing the guillotine cutter speed. The machine can be fed either by a roll or sheet of rubber to the rear of the machine. The roll or sheet of rubber is fed to the guillotine cutter by a servo-controlled indexing roller. The rubber is placed on the feed rollers. We have a feed roller guide that keeps the rubber central and straight as it enters the guillotine cutter. When the feed door is closed, the safety switches activate. The top roller is then lowered into position via a pneumatic cylinder. The heavy-duty guillotine cutter speed is controlled via a frequency inverter to give different lengths of rubber strip depending on the customer's requirements. The strip cutter comes with a variable speed exit conveyor to ensure the strips are separated and do not stick together. When in manual mode, the cutter can be checked by pressing the cutter motor on button on the HMI screen to check it is operating correctly. And then off again. You can then check the feed roller by pressing the feed roller jog button, and finally the feed roller up and down to make sure it is moving freely. On the HMI screen, there is a count material cut, which means you can set a maximum number of cuts and the machine will stop automatically upon completion. To cut a specific length of rubber, you press the icon and enter the desired length in millimeters and hit enter. If you need to make finer adjustments to the length on the control panel, you will find some buttons. You can increase the length by large amounts of plus 0.1 or plus 0.01 of a mil, and the same to decrease either by 0.1 or 0.01 mil. Once the parameters are correct, make sure the machine is in auto mode. You can either press start via the screen or on the button located on the control panel. Once the machine starts to produce strips of rubber, take one of the strips and place between verniers to check the length is correct. As you can see, the length isn't correct, so we must slightly increase the desired length on the parameter screen. We can also set a target weight, for example 30 grams, and this will determine the length the rubber strip is cut to. Once a few strips have been produced, simply pick one up and place it on the scales. If the weight is not correct, simply press the print button. This will increase or decrease the feed roller speed to give the desired weight. You may need to repeat this operation until the correct weight is achieved. For strips above 100 millimeters in length, the special pulse cut function is used. Once the length has been added, press start. After a few strips have been produced, measure the length with a measuring device. If the length isn't within tolerance, simply press the increase button and then repeat this process. When installing the machine, you need to connect your three-phase electric to the earth, neutral, three-phase A, B, C via the terminal rail. After you've completed the electrics, you need to connect the air supply, which needs to be regulated to 70 psi. The machine access doors have Pilz safety switches fitted, so when a door is open, the machine will not function. There will be no roller movement or cutter action. Next to the roller feed, there is another pressure gauge and regulator. This is to control the air pressure in which the roller clamps the rubber. The pressure required is dependent on the rubber hardness. Soft rubber, lower pressure. When installing the conveyor, you need to make sure the safety switch is aligned, the bolts securing the conveyor to the machine are tight, and the electrical connection is made and secure. There is an oil tank that should be filled with 220 gearbox oil. This needs to be pumped 2 times once a day to lubricate the cutter guide rails so they have a smooth movement.